The ChatGPT High is over and you are just copy and pasting prompts. You are drowning in dead text. To stay relevant in the upcoming months, you must stop chatting and start orchestrating your AI. Watch these 3 agents debating the plot of this video on my PC right now. They're actually having a conversation. Unbelievable. In the next few minutes, we are going to build your digital workforce. No computer science degree required. Breathe, log in. I'm Professor Noah Klarman and this is the 2030X uplink. Let's upgrade. In late 24, I still thought ChatGPT was the endgame for all white-collar job descriptions. But as a professor, my job is to manage complexity. And I realized I was failing. I was spending too much time copy and pasting text the whole day. The epiphany came when I realized if your AI lives in the browser tab, it's just a toy. But if it lives in your system, it's actually an extension of your brain. I stopped visiting AI. I started weaving it into my operating system. I didn't just build a new chatbot. I built a digital faculty. At the moment I moved from the browser to my system, my productivity didn't just doubled, it fundamentally transformed. This isn't just about using AI anymore. The skill is managing it efficiently. Let's start with your first skill, learning to use AI in your terminal. And again, there is no computer science degree required here. So let's come to our first skill, using a large language model in your operating system in the terminal. If you never used the terminal before, no problem, I get you covered. You can install it by going to the Microsoft Store and look for WSL and install one of the Ubuntu versions. If you're on a macOS, even better, you have it already installed. We are learning just 3 commands. So this is a terminal. We are learning our first command that is going to create a folder that we call test here. The next command that I'm going to show you is cd for changing a directory, so the path has changed. And the next command is starting in Explorer, so that we have something that we already know. So the folder right now is empty because we haven't created anything, right? So let's open Gemini. If you're looking a way to install it, simply Google it, go to the GitHub account. There's just one line that you copy to your terminal and then it is going to be installed. You can do the same for Codex from OpenAI, or you can do the same for Claude from Anthropic. We are using Google Gemini here. We are going to ask Gemini now, please create a file summarizing the life of Caesar. So what Gemini is doing right now is getting all the content and create a file that will appear in this folder. So Gemini is actually accessing all the stuff that we have on our hard disk. We can also read files. We can even build software without being a software engineer, even without knowing how to code. So let's look at this file. It was just created. Going to double click on this, and this is a nice summary of Caesar's life. But there is so much more you can do. This is just the beginning. This is the first time we use a large language model in the operating system. Stay tuned for the next skill. So in this skill, we are going to connect a large language model to our nodes. I have nodes for everything, and connecting a large language model to it means I don't need to have any context that I put in a tedious way, writing it from scratch every time when chatting with a large language model. No, the large language model finds the context by its own. That is absolutely changing everything for me and has totally transformed the way I'm interacting with large language models. So let's have a look at Obsidian here that I have just opened. So Obsidian is organized in such a graph structure. So every of these nodes is actually a node that exists as a file on my hard drive. So this is of utterly importance because then the large language model can truly access it, read it, and even write new nodes, as I'm going to demonstrate you in the next few minutes. And we are going to open a large language model. In this case, I'm going to use Claude. Make sure to open the large language model in a folder that is actually holding your Obsidian stuff. So I used a soft link for that, like making just a link from something that is actually hosted on your Windows machine. So actually that's just one command. You can also ask a large language model to do so. Super easy, takes you below 1 minute. All right, so let's make sure with ls for listing the directory that I have everything in my vault. Let's open Claude here, and Claude is going to load up. It's from Anthropic. It's a nice large language model, and I'm going now to ask, please create a new MOC, that is map of content, on the topic of the Roman Empire. Let's assume that I want to learn a lot of stuff from before the Roman Empire. Create many nodes below this MOC that is holding information regarding different epochs in the Roman Empire. So let's Claude do the job. It's going to create a MOC that's a kind of table of contents and then creating many nodes below. If everything works fine, the graph is going to twitch right now because it is creating new files for us. So let's have a look at our nodes. So I just saw that we have now a node called Roman Empire, MOC Roman Empire, and this is our map of content giving all the historical epochs in our node. So this is the first moment that you see a large language model creating a node for me. And let's have a look on all the nodes, the subnodes that was created in the same time. So giving me all the information nicely formatted, nicely put in the right place of my Obsidian. That's absolutely crazy. We want also to see what happens if the large language models don't know that these nodes exist. So let's open another session of Claude, and Claude is stateless here, so it's not knowing what it did in the previous session. So we are asking for, hey, please find the MOC of the Roman Empire that we just created and make a quiz in this chat. Please ask me questions, multiple choice questions, to check how well I already learned this stuff. So this is absolutely game changing. If you learn something, you can create the content in your note-taking system and then even learn together with the large language models. I'm doing this all the time. It is going to ask me a question, giving me multiple choice answers. You can then ask for further details. You can then move the details to a node. You can learn by this. So in the next skill, we are going to have a look how to even build software using a large language model in the terminal, even though you don't know how to code or you are not a software developer. In this skill, I'm going to show you how we can build small applications that help us in our everyday's work. So let's open a terminal. I'm creating another folder here, changing the directory as we already learned it, and I'm going to open Codex. So Codex is from OpenAI, and right now this is a very capable model of software development. You can also do it with Claude, you can also do it with Gemini, no problem at all. We are going to set a very capable model, and let's go with the extra high version of it. So what are we doing here? We are actually building a piece of software that is responding in my name, copying my style, but also looking up what I responded in the past to people. So the first thing I did is I copied all the emails I wrote in 2025. These are thousands of emails. I anonymized them, and then I asked a large language model to look through it, extract the most asked question and the answers that I gave, as well as my email style. I want the large language model to sound like me. And this is the first prompt. So I'm creating two distinct markdown files, a style guide and a response knowledge base. And this is actually the essence of all the emails I wrote in 2025. So this is the first prompt, and I already did that. So let's look at my style. Summarize my style and tell me how to improve. So it's telling me I'm very direct, pragmatic, short and sweet. That's nice. First sentence aims to resolve it. I mean, I'm a German, I'm an engineer, so I usually have my small talk minimal and come right to the point, very direct, pragmatic. That sounds really like me. How to improve? Make the formality switch explicit. When to use do versus see. I hope I didn't make here mistakes, because that would be very rough in German. All right, so we have extracted my style, and the next step is to build a piece of software with that prompt that is going to write the software. We want to deploy the software, and we want to use the software on my system where I can copy an email to, and it's going to respond in my style, and also going to look up what are the frequently answered emails that I gave in the last year, to look stuff up and to come up with the answer by its own. So that's a very long prompt. So let's copy that whole thing to our large language model, and then we let it run. run. So it's done. It is actually also showing me how to run it. So if you're not a terminal expert, it's actually showing you bash run.sh and then it starts. So let's open the software and I'm going to run bash run here. So it's going to install all the stuff that is not on my system right now and we are done. So I can now open the website here. Isn't that crazy? It just took me a couple of minutes and it's already there. I haven't wrote this. By the way, if I would have wrote this, it would take me weeks or at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on how experienced I am with all the libraries. But this is saving so much time and beyond this, it is not necessary to be a software developer to come up with this. Isn't that unbelievable? This is changing everything. Mark my words. Okay, here it is. It is absolutely looking nice, very modern design. And what we are going to do is we are using the OpenAI model here. I'm also looking for this for the first time. Just was built in a couple of minutes. Privatization here. That's also what I wrote in the prompt. Master name of the email recipient. So we are going to paste a incoming email here. Dear Mr. Klaman, I was sick yesterday. Could you please upload the slides? Best regards, Perry Roden. So let's see how this is now working. I was writing in the prompt, I want to have a quick analysis with 3 angles. So let the prompt give me 3 angles. I could now respond uploading the slides right now. I hope you feel better. Slides will be uploaded shortly, or let me know if you need anything else. Stunning, right? This works very well. And we can also look up in the response knowledge base markdown file that I was creating. So is there something I have responded to a similar email in the past? Uploading the slides right now, hope you feel better. So let's use this response. And the email is written down here. It's perfect. Hi Perry Roden, uploading the slides right now. I hope you feel better. Best regards, Noah. So this works very well. A large language model can build every app you want now, and it's super easy. Don't need to be a software developer, and this is absolutely changing everything for me. I have so much more time. So far, we used the large language model in the terminal. We are interacting with it, right? But if you are wondering right now, how can we make it automatic? How can we implement the large language model in the process to do the work without our attention? And this is where I introduce N8N to you. N8N is a software that is going to implement large language models in your process. And the very cool thing about N8N is it has an interface to everything, to your email, to your calendar, to your operating system, to everything. And we are going to have a quick look on an example that I'm going to show you what I'm using to prepare my meetings. Let's start by having a look on this Obsidian Vault. I just created a fresh Obsidian Vault and I created then a student's MOC, a map of content, and this is linking many different students. They are not existing. This is just created by a large language model. For example, we have Perry Roden here. I'm clicking on this and this is now a node giving me some pseudo information about a student that is named Perry Roden. We have the topic here, we have notes from the last meeting, and this is what I'm usually doing. I have a note for every of my students and I'm going to use that to prepare for the next meeting. Let's do this automatic. Why not having a signal that comes on my phone 15 minutes before the meeting with all the important information I need for the meeting? Let's build this. I have a fresh Google Calendar in front of me, and what we are building is an information regarding the next meeting where the agent is going to look up stuff from my Obsidian Vault that I just showed you. So let's pretend we have a meeting that is with Perry Roden and appearing in a couple of minutes. Let's open N8N. I'm hosting this on my computer, but you can also have it in the cloud for free. It's super easy to set up. You can have it in 5 minutes. And the first node here that I'm having here in my workflow is a Google Calendar entry. So I'm fetching an event, and as you can see, Perry Roden is the next meeting. It was retrieved from my calendar. N8N has an interface to everything. For example, also to a Google Calendar. And what I'm going to do here is I'm connecting my Google Calendar with it. I'm simply signing into Google, you need to do some stuff here. For example, the client ID that I'm using here, and also a secret that I'm not sharing with you, and then you can use that. So there's a lot of information here how to set this up. This took me like around 3 minutes. Is just going through the tutorial, and then your Google Calendar is actually part of your workflow. So I'm doing a little bit wrangling here above. What it's actually doing is it is looking for the title of the meeting. It's then looking up a file in my Obsidian that is going to be extracted here. All of this is 2-3 lines of code, and I took this from a large language model. So a large language model helped me to set this up. So if you are not proficient in Python or JavaScript, you can use the one or other thing, go to a large language model. I have a lot of experience with these two languages, but I still go to large language models because of speed. So these tools are getting me the file. So let's look at this merge node here. This merge node is now having my Google Calendar stuff, the starting time, the end time, the title of the meeting, and what is also important is my Obsidian node here as text. So what we are doing with it, we are feeding everything into a large language model. So this large language model is going to have a prompt. You are an assistant helping me prepare for a meeting, right? So there are a lot of stuff here going on, and what is important here, I'm using the stuff I just retrieved from my Google Calendar. That is actually the title, what you can see here. What you can simply do is you are looking for the title and you're putting it here. Then you're looking for the start time, the end time, and you can simply drag and drop. What you can do here is using the text from the node. And the whole prompt is then going to be connected to an OpenAI model from my side. I'm needing a key here as well that is now not shown, and you can also get this with a OpenAI account or any other large language model that you are subscribed to, and then you can consume here tokens. It's not too expensive. I'm using $10 for a long time now. I'm sending whatever the response of my large language model to a Telegram account. The Telegram account was connected here as well. You can look up how to do this. All of this took me maybe 30 minutes to set up the whole thing. I'm a little bit experienced, so if you do it for the first time, it will take you a little bit longer. So I'm now executing the whole workflow. Let's see how it works. So it's fetching the event from my calendar. It is already in the large language model, and as you can see, there is an N8N message in my terminal. So sitting in Mensa, eating lunch, I'm getting this message. Hey, there is a student meeting. It's in a couple of minutes. It's 1 hour lasting. It's a master thesis. What is the status? Near completion, first draft under review, and so on and so forth. Absolutely stunning, a super great helper. It took me 30 minutes to set this up. This is absolutely changing the workflow and making things so much better. You need to start interweaving these kind of large language models in your working process. Game changer. Alright, let's come to the last skill that absolutely blew my mind when I saw it for the first time. Back to our terminal, I'm going to use 3 agents at the same time. So we are using my Obsidian node again, and we are starting not 1 agent, but 3 of them. So let's have a look at this script. It's a bash script that is going to set up here 2 variables. This is a bit more technical. If you are not having any experience with that, you can simply use the code. I'm putting it in the description below, and I'm showing you in a second how to start this. So this is going to set 2 variables here, and what it actually does afterwards, it's creating 3 sessions. The first one is a Gemini session. The second one is Claude. The third one is Codex. And let's start this. So they are loading right now, and as you can see on the right hand side we have Codex, in the center we have Claude Code, and to the very left hand side there is Gemini. They are together in 1 session. They are seeing each other. They can communicate. So let's do this. So I have a master prompt for it. in my Obsidian vault. And this master prompt is going to give one of the agents the instructions how to communicate with all the other agents. It can learn it by itself, but here and there it took some time. So I'm going to show it to the agent how to write messages to other large language models and how to retrieve the answers back. So this is a long list of different things. For example, the Tmux commands, how to communicate, and an example workflow, and in the end there is a task. And here as an example we are using check the Obsidian node called top 5 AI skills for 2026. That's the plot of the video you are watching right now, having a conversation with the agents on the plot. Identify the strengths and things to improve in the YouTube video plot. Focus on the storytelling, anything I could improve. Condense everything into 3 bullet points that we can consume together in this video. So let's copy the whole thing here to Gemini. And Gemini is now going to communicate with all the other agents. So let's see how they do it. See this, it actually already sent the messages to the prompts in OpenAI Codex and Claude. They are communicating now. All agents are working right now, and Gemini agent is going to consolidate and summarize for the best answer. Alright, Codex already gave the answer. We are still waiting for Claude Code here. Claude Code is done, and Gemini is in a couple of seconds retrieving both responses and condensing it to a single one. So this is super cool. You have the strengths and the weaknesses of all the models, and what you can do is you can combine them to superpower. So we are done. We have 3 different bullet points. The digital case file red thread to prevent the middle section from feeling like a disconnected feature list. If you feel it was a disconnected feature list, I'm sorry. You can see it is giving me the essence of all the other agents. That's so cool. I'm using that here and there for the very complex things where I want to perceive the stuff from different angles. Super helpful and absolutely stunning. So this is the stack. Terminal for speed and freedom. Obsidian is your digital brain. N8N to put it all into action. This is what promotes you from a passive ChatGPT user to an AI orchestrator. It is how you stay relevant in the coming age of agents. Build your future together with me. Hit subscribe. I will see you in the next video.